Hi Liz, thank you for your next essay. Let's have a look at the essay about extended business hours. So, is it a negative or positive development? The issue of the advantages and disadvantages of shops working hour extension, I wouldn't do this, has grown in importance over the last years. Okay, I believe this decision increase not only the shop's sales. Okay, the possessive shouldn't be here. It should be right after the letter S. This decision increases or will increase. Uh, it really depends on what you want to say. But if I were you, I would rather use will or would increase. But also the population's satisfaction levels. Okay. This essay will argue for the benefits of this issue using examples from Cuban commercial press and the Psychology College at Havana University to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Great, great. But what is your um, position? Okay, so obviously from your statement, it's a positive development. Okay, we have your stance and we have the promise of the examples, and you have your main arguments. Perhaps your stance could be a bit more explicit. I believe this decision is nothing but positive, let's say, because it would increase not only the shop sales, but also the population satisfaction levels. On one hand, the notable increase of the sales amount. This is not a sentence, Liz. You see, you say the notable increase, which is a noun of the sales amount. There is no verb. You can say, on the one hand, what would happen after an increase like that would be a notable increase of the sales amount. Possessive again, right? So you really need the verb here. I gave you an example of how that could be done. There are many other ways to do that, so you can try and experiment. This is due to the fact that more people, especially workers, have access to shops. Okay. For example, recent research by Cuban Commercial Press showed that the number of clients between age 6:30 and 21. Okay, this is Latin or European notation. In English notation, you would rather use 6:30 p.m. and 9 p.m. I mean, I totally understand the 24 hours notation, but I'm just telling you so that you keep this in mind. Almost double the regular flow of customers, not customs, during the day, and sales increased at 24% after the extension of most working hours. Okay, just a question. The sales increased and reached the level of 45%, or there was an increase of plus 45%? Because I'm not sure that I understand. Your proposition says that after the change, the sales grew up to the mark of 45%. Correct me if I'm wrong, write me an email. Therefore, it is clear that if the operational hours of shops are expanded, there would be a significant rise in sales. Okay, good. I might say that you keep repeating the word sales all the time. Perhaps you could rephrase that somehow, because the fewer repeats we have, the better for our vocabulary score. And another thing is perhaps expand this sentence slightly, because I kind of understand, but it is not very obvious. Perhaps you could say as the workers have access to shops. I mean, why is it important for workers to have access to shops after hours? Why? Because they go to work themselves. They get out at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. and all the shops are closed. So there is no accessibility. There is no possibility of a proper work-life balance. Their weekends are overwhelmingly burdened by running errands and so on and so forth. So perhaps more explanation would be required here. On the other hand, the population feels more gratified. Okay, on the other hand, if this and this happens, the population would feel, if this and this happened, the population would feel more gratified. I like the way you use the word gratified, good. This is because services are adapted to their necessities. You are using the present. Perhaps you should think of another tense. Um, let's try and fix this. Again, I'm going to do this verbally because this is faster, and I'm sure that you can easily extract all the corrections from what I say, not only what I write, right? And this is a very good example of, this is a very good practice for listening comprehension. So, on the other hand, let's say, uh, shopping establishments work 24/7, the population would feel more gratified. This is because this is because people would feel that services become adapted or would be adapted to their personal necessities. Take, for example, a recent study from Psychology College, from, let's say, Cuban Psychology College, or let's say Havana Psychology College, which indicated that the local government decision, which indicated that you really need that the local government decision reversed the frustration of people. If you say reversed, it means it turned it back. You can say mitigated the frustration of people. The frustration of what? The frustration of people. Okay, I can see a very nice sentence. Perhaps you could connect with a part of an idea from here, or let's say what you have. Okay, mitigated. So I'm not going to leave reversed here. I'm going to write mitigated. Mitigated. Before, when they finished work, the shops were closed. When they finished work, and you don't need the semicolon here, the shops were already closed. Okay, and you need the semicolon here. Not whereas. Because look, we have whereas and we have because, and the two of them together don't really work well. Perhaps you could use a conjunction here, yet, because of this decision, they didn't need to spend. Who is they? If you say they, you refer to the shops, because this is how English language and English language structure works. Because of this decision, the employees did not, and you really need to use the full form, did not need to spend their rest time at weekends shopping. Okay, conclusively, it is possible to state beyond doubt that service hour extension, I wouldn't even use in shops here, has important impact, has had, the result, present perfect, has had important impact on the workers' sectors, or you have four subjects, four nouns in a row. That's a bit too long. Perhaps you could say on the sector of, on the range of worker satisfaction, on the range of satisfaction that the workers expressed, something like this. From the argument and examples given, I firmly believe that extending shop business hours has financial and social benefits. Great. Based on the information, it could be possible. Okay, comma. Great. Based on this information, it could be possible to affirm that this decision will continue to gain the support of the majority of country's population. The support of the majority of population. Yeah, just that. This is a very nice essay. I think you are improving, but just mind the corrections that I have expressed. Now let's have a look at the graph. Okay, the lines chart. No, this is a line graph. Okay, the line graph shows the precipitation levels in England, Scotland, and Wales throughout 2018. You don't need the year here, or if you wanted to say year, you could put it here. Throughout the year of 2018, which becomes too long. So no, just give the year. From the chart, it is clear, not chart, graph. Okay, so yeah, we said graph here. You can also say from the visual. It's clear that rainfall in all of the three regions followed periods of decreases and increases. Okay, this is a clear way of saying, but there's a better way. Perhaps you could use the word fluctuation or variation. Okay, so instead of using increase and decrease, because you'll be using these verbs and nouns further on. Scotland. And you would need a linking expression here, something to connect. Scotland had the deepest decline in February, lowest first of all, and you use in with months. In February at 30 ml, followed grammar, followed by a decrease in April. Okay, I'm not going to correct the on anymore. I'm going to simply mention that you really need to correct it just as you did here, okay? Likewise, no, you don't need a comma. You need a full stop. Likewise, Wales rain amount, drops almost 2 times. Okay, or you can say twice. There's a special word for that. July was notable for the augmentation of rain in Scotland, England, and Wales over 100 mil. I would use something to emphasize. Interestingly, July was notable for augmentation of rain in this. Augmentation is a relative synonym, but you can say for a rise in the precipitation amount. Again, you use precipitation only once. You will be using it again. But anyway, undoubtedly, as it is illustrated by the chart, comma, while England and Scotland rains grew in September and October, and you need a comma here. Okay, while the rains, you cannot say that the rains grew. While the precipitations or while the rainfall quantity in England and Scotland increased or grew or rose in September and October, Wales precipitations declined and remained steady. Very nice. At the end of 2018, rainfall in Wales had an increase or showed an increase over 100 mil and finally went down. Okay. Scotland, despite of the reduction in precipitation, experimented a rise. I would say experienced a rise over 100 mil. Precipitations in England continued to grow, not gerund but infinitive, at 100 mil approximately. Okay. I love the word precipitation, but you should really try not to use it 3 times. Look, you have precipitation here, here, and here. So perhaps you could oscillate between rain amount, rainfall quantity, precipitation, again, amount and quantity, with a variation. Overall, it is clear that amongst the year, no, you cannot. You can say throughout, but you cannot say amongst. Amongst is for people, mostly. Throughout the year 2018, England had the steadiest amount of rainfall during the year. You are repeating yourself because you already said throughout the year, right? July was the month with the highest accumulation of precipitation, while February and April had the lowest amount of rain. And again, you don't need this, and you would save yourself um, some words. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're concluding on England or, I mean, if this sentence is the conclusion for all three regions or only for England. So if um, in which regions? Regions. So perhaps you could add clarification here. Anyway, this is a nice answer. Try to expand the range of vocabulary for reporting data. Words like increase, decrease, drop, fluctuation, variation, and all the rest of those. Okay, just make sure you do. Anyway, Liz, great work. Sorry for the delay in my feedback. There was an issue. But anyway, keep up the great work. I think I can see you improve, especially in the task 2 essay. And all the best of luck.